الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Health Education by Professor Mahmoud Hani Sulaiman. Definition: it is a process of bringing scientific knowledge on health to people, to bring about changes in their knowledge, attitude, and behavior. The aim is to bring changes in knowledge, attitude, and behavior for betterment of their health and health of community in which they live. Objectives of health education: adopt healthy lifestyles, best use of health service, change attitude toward health, improve health. So objectives of health education are to encourage people to adopt healthy lifestyles, to encourage them to make best use of health services, to encourage them to change their attitude toward their own health, to improve health of family and community at large. Health education versus health propaganda publicity. This table is for you to print it and to find by yourself what is the difference between health education and health propaganda. Approaches in changing behavior. There are 4 approaches to change behavior. First, regulatory approach. That is to say, using legal way, using laws. Such regulations may vary from prohibition to imprisonment. Merit of regulatory approach. This is the simplest and quickest way to improve health of people. Demerits of regulatory approach of using legislation. Disease controlled but not eradicated by legislation. Legislation cannot force people to act. For example, it cannot force people to eat balanced diet or to quit smoking or quit drinking alcohol. This amounts to take away rights of people. Regulatory approach will not be successful unless people are ready to accept the law. Service approach for changing behavior consists of providing healthcare service to those, providing healthcare services to those, as in polio immunization, based on assumption that people would use them to improve their own health. People may not accept such services even if provided free of cost unless it is their felt need, resulting in failure of such approach. Health education approach for changing behavior. Health education. There are many health problems solved only through health education, like prevention of AIDS, accidents, dental cares, etc. Results are slow but enduring. Since attitude and behavior patterns are formed early in life, health education best started early in school life. Moreover, behavior pattern is more easily controlled among younger population than adults. Primary health care approach for changing behavior. This is new approach wherein health care service is basic, essential, utilitarian, provided by non-medical persons, starting from people, by people, and for the people, based on principles as equitable distribution, community participation, intra-sectoral approach, and appropriate technology, thus making service highly successful. For example, role of traditional birth attendants in conducting safe delivery and reducing maternal mortality and infant mortality. Contents of health education can be any of these: human biology, personal hygiene, nutrition, environment, prevention of accidents, prevention of communicable disease, reproductive health, population control, mental health. So health education is given different name according to the content, as sex education, population education, safety education, and so on. Principles of health education. following principles which contribute to success of health education. It is very important, so please take care. Credibility means degree to which message is perceived as trustworthy. Unless people have trust and confidence in communicator, message will not be perceived. Content or interest. People will listen to things of interest, meaningful, and their felt need. Things are interest, meaningful, and their felt need. So educators should find real health needs and educate it. Only if people participate, so program becomes successful. Suppose fault need is not known to people because of illiteracy, so educators should bring about recognition of needs and then educate them. Continued principles of health education. Context. Context in which communication is given should be relevant to the receiver. Clarity. Message should be very clear. Consistency. Message should be consistent to penetrate into minds of receiver. Channels. Existing channels are used. Capability of audience. Audience must be capable of understanding what is told. Continued principles of health education. Participation. No health program will be successful without participation of public. For that, they must be motivated to participate by health workers. Comprehension equal educating people at a level they can understand. Comprehension means to be understood, and preferably in same language they speak, and avoiding difficult and strange words. Teaching should be done within mental capacity of audience. Reinforcement equal repetition of same message periodically, preferably in different ways, so audience can understand it better and remember for a longer time. Otherwise, they may go back to pre-awareness stage. Continued principles of health education. Motivation. It is awakening desire among people to learn. They can be motivated by giving incentives, either negative or positive. For example, if an obese woman is told to decrease body weight because of complication of coronary artery disease, it may have little effect. However, if she is told that by reducing weight, she may look more beautiful and she may accept with pleasure. Motivation is contagious. One motivated person may motivate an entire group. Continued principles of health education. Learning by doing makes person perfect. This is very important. Chinese say, if I hear, I forget. If I see, I remember. If I do, I know. If I hear, I forget. If I see, I remember. If I do, I know. So by doing will help to educate people about health. Known, then unknown, another principle of health education. Tell the people what is known and then go to the unknown. Setting an example, al-qudwa, setting an example. Educator himself should practice what he preaches. He himself should be an ideal example. If he is explaining hazards of smoking, he should not be found smoking. Very clear. Similarly, if he is talking on small family norm, if he himself has many children, he will be not successful. Continued principles of health education. Good human relations with people, getting feedback from audience is of paramount importance to educator so that he can improve himself in communicating next time. Leaders, involvement of local leaders. Practice in health education. This consists of audiovisual aids and methods of health education. Audiovisual aids, these make health education process more effective and impressive by making concepts clear and programs successful. These bring about understanding where words fail. They avoid monotony, thus they occupy the central role. These aids are classified into three groups. First group is auditory aids like radio, tape recorder, microphones, earphones, etc. Second, visual aids, not requiring projection, requiring projection. If they are not requiring projections like blackboard and chalk, posters, charts, internet, exhibits, models, specimens, health museums, internet, newspaper. Requiring projection, slides, film strips, transparency, educator still into one place and he cannot move around. 3. Combined audiovisual, television, cinema, video cassette. These are most effective compared to above two groups of aids because of the following advantage. This advantage of audiovisual aids are, since they are close to being natural, they create interest among people. They make learning easy and permanent. The pictures are impressed in the mind of the people and stimulates thinking. People are able to see the things like surgical procedures, etc., which they are unable to see otherwise. Levels in health education. Health education can be carried out at three main levels: individual and family level, group level, like school children, industrial workers, antenatal mothers, and so on. Community level, general public. Learning, education, and evaluation. Here we will describe some important terms. Domain of learning process, these are cognitive to gain knowledge, affective to change attitude and behavior, and psychomotor to gain skills. So it is about knowledge, attitude, behavior, skills. The SOAP technique for analyzing this is a method of evaluation of a case or a student. Evaluation of a case or a student by S means subjective, O objective, A analysis, P planning method. SOAP technique, S for subjective, O for objective, A for analysis, P for planning methods. Body language. This is a non-verbal method of communication. It includes mannerism, body movements, facial expression of the communicator. This is unintentional but reflects more accurately the thoughts and attitudes of the individual, of the communicator. Anatomy of lesson plan. This consists of information about the name of the speaker, topic and its contents, venue, date and time, type of audience, learning objectives, methodology, teaching aids required, utilized, and evaluation. It is very important for the communicator to know this anatomy of the lesson plan to put it correctly and use it. The Delphi method. It is a group discussion method in which experts in panel dispersed geographically deal with complex problems. They are not at the same place. Deal with complex problems systematically without interactions among them and form a group of judgment. They form a group of judgment. This method started in 1944. The method comprises of series of questionnaires sent to experts of panel either by mail or email. Questionnaires are designed to elicit and develop individual responses, thus enabling experts to refine their views. There is no face-to-face discussion. The interactions among panel members are controlled by a panel director who maintains anonymity of group interaction. In other words, the comments are not identified as to their originator but presented to the group as a feedback for interaction. Continued Delphi method, the monitor identifies areas of a concordance. The areas of this concordance are sent as feedback to all of them without revealing identity and reactions asked for. Such sessions are continued till a common group judgment is obtained. This is the objective, to obtain a common group judgment of experts about something which is very specific. Thus, ideas are explored and decision is made. Final report or conclusion is then prepared. Thus, key elements of Delphi process are structuring of information flow of questionnaires, feedback to the participants, maintenance of anonymity. Here's some terms. Pedagogue equal to teach, pedagogy equal art of teaching. SORC model is method of analysis of a program, population, or person. SORC, S stimulus antecedent variables, O organism variable, R responses, C consequences. Antecedent variables, events in the life that prompt us to produce a specific behavior. Organism variable, individual differences due to biological factors and past learning that influence our behavior. Responses, it may reflect intensity of stimuli that preceded them or consequences that follow them. It may occur in cognitive, affective, or psychomotor domain. Consequences means the results of behavior. SWOT analysis, another method for analysis, is acronym for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats involved in a project or a business. SWOT analysis is a structured planning method used to evaluate a project or program. It may be a health project or a health program, a scientific project or scientific program, a business project or a business program. In order to make improvements, it is used to make improvements. It involves identification of external and internal factors that are favorable and unfavorable to achieve that objectives as shown in the structure. I'll show it to you next slide. Structure of SWOT analysis. The aim of SWOT analysis is to identify key internal and external factors, turn weaknesses into strengths and threats into opportunities to achieve objectives. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Strengths are characters existing in an organization, project, program, which, or even a person, which provides a competitive advantage. Weakness are weak points which act as barrier to achieve success. They have to be minimized. Opportunities are ones which, if properly managed, can provide a competitive advantage. Threats equal risks involved which erode competitive advantage and can cause trouble in a program or project. They have to be eliminated. SWOT analysis is better explained with example. In immunization campaign, strengths, these are the positive points as proper preparation of campaign, manpower, money, materials, vaccine, ice packs, syringes, vaccine. This is the structure for SWOT analysis. As you see here at your left, strengths. Here is the weaknesses. Strengths in the favorable. In the favorable also is opportunities. Unfavorable to achieve objectives are weaknesses and threats. These two strengths and weaknesses of internal origin, attributes to the organization, project, or even the person. These opportunities and threats are of external origin, attributes for environment. These two strengths and opportunities are positive parts. These weaknesses and threats are negative part. So strengths is active participation by community. For that, people must be previously sensitized and convinced about a program, acceptance of program, preparedness for any complication occurs. Weakness are negative weak points as lack of training, lack of budget, lack of cooperation, lack of interest. Opportunities, these are measures for improvement as release of the budget in time, training for concerned persons, effective supervision and monitoring, involvement of related persons. Threats are risks involved in the program as untimely and inadequate supply of materials, drugs, vaccines, money, occurrence of adverse reactions, delay in release of budget, sudden shortage of manpower, non-cooperation by the related sectors or departments. وفي النهاية أقول الحمد لله رب العالمين و thank you for your good listening.